And hello, everybody. Welcome back to the IzzyVerse. We're going to have a great show here tonight. We're going to be talking a lot about our panels and screenings for New York Comic Con that's going to begin 1 week from today. So that's what today's show is going to be all about. It's going to be all about Comic Con. It's going to be about the panels. It's going to be about the screeners. It's going to be about whatever we want to talk about in this show. And I have a great group of panelists with me today. Some are new, some are old, but we're going to have a great time with that. But let's get started with our plugs for today before we move on. Just to let everybody know, if you are looking for supplies for your comics, backs, and boards, BCW is the place. You get 10% off with the promo code IzzyVerse. Also, if you're looking to buy some comic books and you want to get some special variants, Comic Exposure, who will be at New York Comic Con, is also giving 15% off with promo code IzzyVerse. And all you have to do is go to comicexposure.com. When you go to checkout and ask for your promo code, put the promo code IzzyVerse and you're going to get 15% off your purchase. Also, for those of you that are into Whatnot, I am in Whatnot, and I am planning to do a show very soon. I'm not sure exactly what's the date, but I am planning to do another show. And if you sign up using this code Whatnot Invite IzzyVerse, you're not only going to get $10 credit, you're going to get a $15 credit for your first purchase. It's going to help me a lot, guys. So go to Whatnot Invite IzzyVerse, and you're going to get your chance to get $15 off your first purchase. So with that being said, there is one more thing I want to share with everybody, and let's go ahead and talk a little bit about it before I bring my invited guest. If you don't know, the IzzyVerse is now monetized through YouTube, and I'm so happy to say that you are now able to use super chats. You can leave me a thank you, and you could put anything you want. You could donate to the IzzyVerse. It's going to help me out get more guests. It's going to help me out get the proper equipment. Anything that's going to help the show for me to get out, you could do just by using the super chats. And yes, I am going to be paying attention to the super chats. Everybody wants to leave any comments. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about our topic for today. And our topic for today is all about New York Comic Con. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the panels, and we're going to be talking about the screenings. One thing we will not be talking about is the autograph sessions and things like that, because if you want to get a signature, you're going to get a signature. If you want to get a photo op, you're going to get a photo op. What's more important to us is what the panels are going to be about, what the screeners are going to be about, why are we excited about them, more so than who's going to be there. So let me get started with a friend of the channel. You've seen him before. He's come with me a couple of our shows. Let's bring in You Blink, Sean Hill. What's going on, my man?
Welcome back,
Sean. Tokyo Bronx in the house, right?
Of course. How you guys doing, peoples?
Yeah. Also with me, we got two new guests to the IzzyVerse. I'm going to go ahead and start talking to Kevin. He's actually part of the comic school, right? With the comic book school. Am I correct, Kevin?
Yeah.
Got the fancy headsets going on there. Got that nice little glow.
Yeah, they're Logitech headphones. So full
Logitech's
wireless.
awesome, man.
Yeah, I can take the microphone off. You know. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And lastly, someone who actually has a Kickstarter running right now. We'll talk a little bit about that Kickstarter a little bit later. Let me introduce to everyone Tony James. What's going on?
What's up? How you doing?
Best mustache in the business. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir. How you doing?
Good. Welcome to the IzzyVerse, all of you. It's gonna be a blast. I don't even know how long we're gonna go. Usually we try to go 1 hour, but Sean, you've been with me. I think we might go longer.
I'm the old guest. I'm the
You're the
dusty
old guest.
person.
All right.
Yeah.
And just to remind everybody, please, if you want to, go ahead and utilize the super chats. It's going to help me out and helping you out with this channel grow. So thank you all for helping me get monetized. We finally did. Let's talk about New York Comic Con. All right. New York Comic Con has been happening for how long now, guys? It's been almost
All my life, I guess.
All your life, dude. You're that young?
Yes, man.
I think it's like 15 years now, last I checked. No, it's probably, I think it's more like 14 years. I was at the first Comic Con. Anybody been in the first Comic Con? I was at the first one.
What
So
year
the
was
first, if I knew, I would tell you. I don't remember, to be honest. It's such a long time ago.
That would have been
2001?
No, it was definitely a little bit later than that.
It would have been like
2002.
2005, 2006.
Yeah, if you guys are watching the show and leave it in the chat. Let me know when did Comic Con started.
It said 15 years, so I was like,
it's got to been a long time. But I'm gonna just go. That's the beauty of Google, right? When did
it's like 2005?
I want to say 2005 too. That's
It's like 2005, 2006.
When did Comic Con started? 2006. That is the number. 2006. You get the prize, Kevin. Back in 2006, I remember me and my wife, we were married for 1 year. No, we were married for longer. Now she's going to beat me up if she hears me in the background. So 2006, we went, and Comic-Con was definitely a smaller, more intimate environment. And when I say that, it became a fire hazard, guys. That's how intimate it was. And they would not allow people in. And some people did not get in till like 3 o'clock that afternoon, and they had a full day ticket. It was small. It was compact. Everybody was squished together. There was another trade show going on as well. But now, ReedPop is taking over. It is huge. The only show that's bigger than New York Comic Con will have to be San Diego Comic Con. And I'll be honest, it has a run for its money. They are butting head. It's the largest comic convention in the East Coast.
Nice.
People come across the world to New York Comic Con. They're interested in it. It started back. It was a February show. I remember that. It was out in February, and then they moved it to where it is now, which is Columbus Day weekend or Indigenous people day now. It's always happens during that weekend now, which I like better because I need a break the next day, guys, when it comes, right? After that last day, I'm like, I'm done. No more. And then the following year, they got me again. So now we're going to, one of the biggest things about Comic-Con that's always been a big part of it has been the show floor, the cosplay, artist alley, but most importantly, it's been about the panels and the screenings. The panels are something that I personally love to go see. I love to hear what's going on in the industry. I love to hear the news that are coming up from the big two like Marvel and DC, as well as the other independent companies, the Vault Comics, the IDWs, the Booms, which they always have something. This year is no different. Marvel is returning from its hiatus from Comic-Con. DC not yet.
Okay.
But give them time. They'll show up. All right. But Jim Lee is coming. So we got Jim Lee and we got Todd McFarlane, which we will talk a little bit more about. I want to talk a little bit about Todd McFarlane because it's a big year for him. What about you guys? We'll start with you, Tony. What's so important about Comic-Con to you?
It's just, for a comic book nerd like myself, it's like Christmas come early. It's just, I just love walking the floor. I just want to buy stuff, spend more money than I have, buying prints, buying little toys, and then just getting to like meet a lot of creators in like Artist Alley. Is always really cool to see the stuff that people have been working on all year that they finally get to present at the show.
Mhm. What about you, Kevin? What does Comic Con mean to you?
Honestly, kind of similar to what Tony said. I a little later on, you know, we're gonna talk about our projects and things that we've worked on. Just networking, and I err more towards the educational panels.
Mhm.
So, comic book school always has a good showing.
Mhm.
Um, I'm studying to be a social worker, so I kind of go towards those panels of, how do I use comic books and, that medium in classrooms and things like that.
Mhm.
So just getting more tools under my belt kind of thing.
Yeah, and Comic Con's always been, it always had a soft side for education. There's always an educational element. Thursday is usually like the educational day. But I think it's expanded even more so. So it's great. Sean,
Oh,
what
yeah.
what what about you? What's Comic Con to you?
Um, hygiene.
That is true.
Definitely need to learn to use soap. Give each other space. That's definitely what Calcutta. Nah, I'm joking. It
You're not
just
wrong. You're
yeah,
definitely not wrong.
I'm being real. I'm being real. But Comic Con is a good time, man. It's just one of those really unique moments in the year, right? Where not only are you meeting like people that you're familiar with, but people that you don't know, and not only
Mhm.
from just New York City, but from all over the world.
Mhm.
And that's a really beautiful thing. You get to see all these different cross cultural things come across, and you have a good time. And you might run into somebody that might not speak the same language as you, but you guys understand Superman, you understand Batman, and that's kind of
Yeah.
cool, right? So
Yeah.
you have those little moments, and even getting a nice little signature from your favorite artist or writer, that could make your day as well.
Mhm. I personally like seeing some of the cosplayers because
Mhm.
even though cosplay could be a lot of things, but some of the ideas some of these people come up with, like the extravagant costumes that you see that you can only see in a Comic Con, in a big Comic Con, because if you go to a local Comic Con, you're not going to see it as much. People will dress up as their favorite characters. How many Harley Quinns are we going to see? How many Deadpools are we going to see? Right? There's always a Spider-Man somewhere, right? But it's when you
Yeah.
get the obscure ones. I think the obscure ones are the ones I love the most. The ones that are like, oh man, you really thought this through. And
Yeah.
someone will come in with huge wings and is like knocking everything around. But I personally love it for small press. I love it for Artist Alley. I myself, being part of that organization, being part of that group, I love doing sketches for people in Comic Con. So yeah, if you come to my booth, 1941, guys, remember the year, 1941, and that's where I'm going to be on Thursday and Friday. On Saturday and Sunday, I'll be there as well. But I'm allowing someone else to use my space that I was originally had, because I don't want to be sitting on the table for 4 days. I want to enjoy the show. I want to go see the panels, because that's the other part I love. And just like Kevin said, I do like going for educational purposes. As an artist myself, one of the things I used to love going is to hear from other artists about their technique, their strategies, what they do. And going to a panel it helps out, because you get that one-on-one live environment. That's something that you can't really get on the screen. Um, Another thing that's really big in Comic-Con these days are screeners. So let's talk a little bit first of Thursday. We've been in here for a few minutes now. Let's talk about Thursday's show. Thursday's usually the quiet one, but I think this year, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Thursday seems to be very heavy-handed. Like we're going to come in a bang, and it's going to start with the Super Mario Brothers teaser trailer. Here we go. What do you guys think about this trailer? First of all, it's going to be the first time we get to see a new version of Mario, voiced by Star-Lord himself, Chris Pratt. What do you guys think?
I think it's gonna exceed our expectations. I think there's a lot of people thinking it's like not gonna be very good. But I think it's gonna. I mean, I think this animation studio, they're very good at what they do. Nintendo just overseeing the whole thing. I think it's gonna be a pretty good teaser. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I gotta agree. I'm just like, I'm sad they couldn't get back, you know,
The
the
original
original
voice,
guys. Huh?
because they're trying something different.
Well,
Yeah.
well, well. That guy. I mean, that guy is like the voice. Like
Mhm.
he's always doing it. So, and if he does the voice, he has to sign off on doing it. Anytime he goes to an event, Nintendo has to
Yeah.
give him the okay to do the voice.
Yeah.
So if I know they're doing Chris Pratt, but yeah, I mean,
What are your thoughts, Kevin?
I'm interested. I mean, I've set my expectations lower than I think most people have,
Mhm.
just because for a lot of us, we grew up with Super Mario
Oh, yeah.
Brothers, you know, so hearing, there's a
Mhm.
Super Mario Land
yeah,
out in Tokyo, seeing the feedback from that, people actually going and experiencing that world.
Mhm.
I've I've set my expectations to a point where
Yeah.
it could be amazing,
Mhm.
but at
Or
the
it could be,
same time,
and I think we're gonna find out, right? We're
I
gonna
think it's gonna
find
be
out.
better than the Emoji Movie.
exactly.
I
So
think.
I'm not like, oh my God, like I'm going to clear my entire day and watch it 50 times. It's
Mhm.
like, all right, let's see what happens in it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's no end game, right? It's no end game. It's no Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever. It's Super Mario. But it's the first time we see Super Mario on the big screen since the
John Leguizamo.
90s. Yeah, Bob
I'm ready for
Hoskins. I
John
love those
Leguizamo. I
guys.
want him to have a. I think he should come back as Bowser.
Yeah.
No,
John,
they already announced Bowser. Um, darn it, who's playing Bowser? They announced Bowser. Um, now you got me wondering it, so I'm looking over here to see,
I
to see
just
who we
saying
got.
A Puerto Rican Bowser. Come on,
No,
man.
oh my goodness,
Oh,
Dude, that would be
yeah.
hilarious.
yeah. So
And
here
your
it's only telling me
princess, what's up,
the
bro?
original Super Mario Brothers. I'm talking about the new one. No, Bowser has been announced. It's going. Well, we got Seth Rogen is playing Donkey Kong, which I don't know what to think of that. Oh, you ready for Bowser?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Jack Black.
No, that's not bad.
That's not
That's not
that's
bad.
not the worst.
It's a pretty big cast though. So you
They
got
couldn't get
Anna Taylor Joy. She's playing Princess Peach. You got
Okay.
Charlie Day as Luigi. I can see
Okay.
that.
Okay.
yeah,
I can see
Yeah.
Charlie Day. I can see that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
got
I can see
Oh,
that.
they could have
Charles
got Idris
Martinet.
Elba.
Charles Martinet. He's in the movie in some format,
Nice.
but he doesn't have a name to him. So I guess they're keeping his voice secret. Seth Rogen is playing Donkey Kong, so we're gonna have Donkey Kong in this movie. That's kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Well, he was in the original Mario Brothers game, the very first one. With the
Well, so he was actually, it was his game, and Mario was in his game, and then Mario spawned from him. He split out of him. So
Yeah.
it's Donkey Kong, then Mario. Toad is gonna be Keegan Michael Key.
Okay.
So
Really?
yeah, it's an
That's-
interesting cast.
Okay.
I'm not feeling this now, man. I'm just saying, was it
Hey.
Idris Elba? Was it Idris
That-
Elba available for Bowser? Like,
That's why I'm saying I
That's
set
good.
my bar low.
It
My
seems very
expectations
comedy
aren't
heavy.
there.
he
It
could've
seems
played-
very
he could-
comedy heavy. Now-
He's great at comedy. He played Knuckles to a T. He played Scar
Yeah.
yeah. Come on, this guy. You could have got Idris
Well,
Elba, man.
Well, the
No.
movie's being produced by Illumination, so they're the guys responsible for the Minions and the Despicable Me movies. Say what you want to say about the Despicable Me movies, the franchise. Kids love them.
Mm-hmm.
Adults, not so much, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And And this is Nintendo, who has been very they've been holding to their properties like no tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So they don't just freely give it out. So somehow Illumination convinced them, and there goes my phone. They're calling me up. They're like, "Yo, man, stop talking about Mario that way." Maybe I should put this thing on vibrate, right, guys?
Was that the X-Men intro?
Yeah, that was the X-Men intro. That's how loud my microphone is.
Nice.
So Illumination is their animation in itself should look great. It's will the voice acting work and match what we're looking for in a Super Mario Brothers movie, especially since Chris Pratt went on the record saying he's not going to do the traditional Italian accent.
See that? That's why
Yeah.
I'm saying it doesn't sit with me. My expectations.
Yeah, it again.
Like,
I think this trailer is going to tell us how we feel about it at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
I just hope it does well so we can get a Zelda movie. That's it.
see, Zelda, yes.
Zelda live action, I would love to see.
Zelda live action,
No,
Oh
I
yeah,
will get behind.
I would get
I would
behind the
take-
Zelda.
I would take a CGI.
No,
Zelda movie.
I want Zelda to be live action because they could do it. If you got Lord of the Rings and all that stuff, it's perfect.
Yeah, but look what they did with Warhammer. Not Warhammer. Sorry, Warcraft.
But people who love Warcraft, they love that movie.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But Warcraft
true.
is Warcraft was an IP that at that time was at its height. But is anybody talking about Warcraft today?
The Warcraft.
Yes.
fan.
Yes.
Not
People-
the same way,
Well,
man.
Wow.
Not the same way.
People-
They really
wow.
aren't, man. Not like that.
Oh, okay.
I
Wow
think
is
Magic the
still-
Gathering would have been bigger than that. I'm just saying.
I'm
just
just
saying.
We could just do or I'll take a Metroid movie. I'll take a live action Metroid movie.
Ooh.
That would be good.
That would be cool. A live action Metro, a live action Castlevania. We could go all day with these, right?
No, that's Konami. You can't go that way.
We can't go that way.
Nah.
How about
they could've
Gaiden?
gone
Can we get Ninja Gaiden?
wrong.
You can do that.
We can
That's
do that, right?
Tecmo.
I don't
see.
again.
I'm-
Okay, how about Duck Hunt? Can we get Duck Hunt, guys?
Sure. Well, he was in the
Just
video
get the
game
dog
movie.
just laughing like
Yeah,
That's
he
it.
was
That's
in
all we
that,
get.
Video game movie. What was that one? Wreck-Em Ralph.
yeah, he was in Wreck-It
Yeah.
Ralph. Yeah. All right, so we got Mario. Let's before we go to our next one, which is Demon Slayer, let's talk a little bit about these HBO Max series that are coming out.
Mhm.
First of all, returning is His Darkest Materials, which has James McAvoy in it, and again, it's a continuation of what many people don't know, that it's based off the series. His Darkest Material is the series, but the movie it's Golden Compass, which is poorly made. His Darkest Material is the TV version. I think it's on its third season, if I'm not mistaken. That's coming back, so they're going to be talking a little bit about that one. But more importantly, Velma, the adult series. It's an adult animated series, Velma. When I heard about it, and this is the first time I hear about this week. I heard about this. I was like, oh, we're going Harley Quinn style on Velma. Is this long overdue, or is it a pass?
I mean, people have been writing fan fiction with
Oh, there's a
Velma
lot of fan fiction on Velma.
for a long time. So
Well, I mean, I think it's totally finished. So, like, that's one of the shows that didn't get canceled by DC.
Mhm.
So they're willing to keep pushing it forward.
yeah,
But is it because it's adult based?
Yeah,
Because that's what the
she's
HBO
bored.
Max series are trying to do.
Like, she's solving murder mysteries, literally. So people are getting killed, and it's like, it's a little bit more gruesome, but it's also Velma is South Asian. She is based on what's her name again? From The Office, the young Indian.
No, she's
lady.
being played by Mindy.
Mindy Kaling.
right.
Yeah,
Right,
Oh.
Mindy. Right.
she's being played by her. Yeah.
No, but she's represented her as well. That's why she has a darker tone.
Mhm.
She's actually South Asian now. She's
Yeah.
she's Indian.
Okay, that's pretty
Interesting.
interesting.
But a show
I have-
with just
Yeah, go ahead.
her, the show with just her and not the rest of the crew.
That's a great question that I don't
Right.
have an answer to.
So it's just her. So it's
Mhm.
just her, not the crew. It's her in her beginnings before she links up with the gang.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah, I don't see. I'm
That's
not a fan of this show because they keep doing stuff like this with people like Harley Quinn, like, and they change the characters so much they're not who they were.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we'll see how it
But
goes.
Harley Quinn has gone through so many renditions. So what we see in the Harley Quinn animated series, which a lot of people do enjoy, and I have to admit, I've seen the first 2 seasons. I haven't seen the last season,
That's
but the
good.
last 2 seasons have been hilarious. I've loved them. It's
No,
so funny.
I enjoy them as well, the first 2 seasons, but the third season is a bit more like it's like you ever saw any sitcom, any TV sitcom, when they make the two best friends have a relationship with each other, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden the show starts tanking because the two people
Yeah,
that
it's a will they won't they scenario, and they're just doing it with Harley Quinn, and it just
and
it
Ivy
falls
Poison
flat a
Ivy.
lot of times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Oh well. At the end of the day, you know what I mean. It's
And she's running around the Batcave and Wayne Manor like it's not a problem, which
my
is
favorite is
weird as
Kite
hell.
Man. I love Kite Man and King Shark. Those are my favorite, man. That show, King Shark, is awesome. All right, another show that everybody's hyping on. We talked a little bit about it, Sean, on Sunday, and that's the return of Demon Slayer. So Demon Slayer is coming back, and they are gonna.
Mhm.
Some of the cast members are going to be at Comic Con. Talk a little bit about the show. Do you guys expect to see a little something?
A trailer announcement. That's it.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little trailer, a
Yeah.
little.
Probably.
Yeah.
A little trailer. Outside of that, not
Not
much
much.
more.
T-
Not
time,
much
time,
more.
time to play the waiting game. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they're gonna keep that close to the vest on that
Yeah, they've
one.
been very tight-lipped with what's going on. They did reveal the Swordsman story arc is going to be the next one. So we might get a trailer. I don't think I wouldn't be surprised we get a trailer. They
It's
come in
probably gonna be
strong.
like it's probably gonna be a US dub. I feel like that's it. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
get the trailer, and
Yeah,
it's English dub, and that's it. Because it's
yeah,
probably there's two things. It's a fresh new trailer, or it's the trailer you already seen, but with an English voiceover.
But the trailer we already seen is just a clip of all the other seasons. We didn't really see a trailer, with the exception of them making the swords. It's not. It's a teaser in the fullest extent.
Mm.
Right? That's what a teaser trailer should look like. The Demon Slayer's last trailer that came out. So if they do a trailer, it's not going to be a teaser trailer. It has to be a full blown trailer. I would say.
Okay.
That's what I say. Right. And lastly, Tony, one that
Yeah.
you picked, Aqua
Yeah.
Teen Hunger Force is back, but Aqua Teen Forever, Plantasm.
Yeah. I think it's like the band's getting back together after all these years. Like I watched this show heavily in college, and it's just great that they're gonna get everybody back together for another round trip around the bases.
I won't lie. I used to love watching it every so often. Like I didn't catch the episodes like religiously, but whenever I watch it, I just loved it because it was so stupid.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
just so ridiculous. The show.
None of it made any sense. It was
None of it
hilarious.
made any sense. You could jump in at any given moment. It didn't matter, right? It wasn't like it was a chronological story. It was
Yeah.
very very linear in that way. And it was just funny, man. I
Yeah.
love comedy like that. Just stupid comedy is the best. So
Yeah.
we're getting them with Aqua Team Forever, and that should be fun. I only expect nothing but good stuff coming out of that. So
Yeah.
let's go before we start talking about Friday's panels. Let's talk a little bit about some of the panels that we're excited for Thursday. So what are some panels out there that you guys are excited for on your end that we haven't spoke of that you guys are interested in being a part of and seeing in some way?
I just want to go and see Velma. I'm intrigued. I just think like at the end of the day, it's gonna be interesting. It's either gonna be it's gonna be a spectacular explosion or a really good show. Which is either way. How you
Yeah.
do a whole show without Scooby Doo? At least have Scooby Doo in it or something.
Yeah, but then it goes back to those late those late 80s cartoons, if you ever remember those late Saturday morning cartoons when it was missing the rest of the gang, you know, like the
Nobody want to watch. Oh, go ahead.
that it was just Shaggy and Scooby and not Velma but Daphne, but yet Fred was missing and they had what's his
It was
name?
Scooby Doo and the 13 Ghosts.
Yeah,
Where they were like Scooby Doo and the werewolf. Where
what's
Shaggy's the werewolf and none of
what
the
was
rest
the
of
little
them.
dog? I can't. It's
Scrappy.
It's
Oh,
Scrappy.
Scrappy-Doo?
The dog everybody hated.
Scrappy.
You know, it's like, you know what? If you're gonna give me that, give me the whole gang. I want the whole gang. I can't stand these.
I feel like it's gonna make me go back and watch the two movies, the two James Gunn movies.
Yeah.
Forgot about those movies.
Yeah. Okay. So, does anybody else have any idea or plans of what they want to go check out on Thursday, or would like to check out on Thursday, if possible? Because lo and behold, they did the reservations, and some of them are sold out. So,
Repop.
I mean, one that I
thank you,
wish,
Repop.
one I wish, you know, if I was going to the show this year, is comic books and manga in the classroom.
Yeah, I did see that. So
that one I'm interested in, just because I'm studying to be a social worker or, you know, mental health specialist. So for me, just taking it on the educational side of, you know, seeing what comic books or what manga or graphic novels, you know, teenagers, young adults, elementary school, middle school age kids, you know, are interested in, you know, it'll help a lot of us in the mental health profession understand, like, how do we tap into what they're seeing.
I would agree. My kids, I have two girls, and I have a 17-year-old and I have a 12-year-old, and they love manga. They love reading it, but more importantly, it's now part of school curriculum. Like, if you're asked to read something, instead of being, you know, the Diary of Anne Frank, which, you know, nothing against Anne Frank in that story. It's a sad story, but it's a story that honestly I didn't want to read when I was in school. Right, I had to.
Yeah.
But now they have the option of reading manga. They have the option of reading comics, and which we didn't do.
A thing.
It was not a thing. So now it's part of the classroom, as a form of literature, which is fantastic. How we've grown in the educational society, because comics when I was a kid were those are funny books that you read on your own personal time. It don't count, and it doesn't count. But now it counts. Now it counts as something because it is a form of literature. It is a form of art. So yeah, anything when you bring, you know, comics into the classroom is, for me, is always a good thing.
Yeah. And I mean, also too, it's a cultural divide if you really think about it, because now you're bridging, oh, this is a book that's read backwards.
Yeah, that's kind of challenging at first too.
You know, so, you know, being of Asian descent, you know, this is how my parents grew up reading books. And so, you know, now to have that as a mainstream, like, teachers are now like, hey, if you want to read these books, if you can write a book report, it's fair game.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
And teachers before, you know, whenever you had to do book reports, you literally had to plead your case about using a graphic novel or manga. And some teachers would take it. Other teachers would be like, nah, you already got a 0 or you got an F. Like,
yeah, it's like saying, hey,
like, not even, you know, like, oh, everyone else can share their story. Oh, I read To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh, you know,
I read Watchmen.
Oh, I read Naruto.
or Akira, right? Those books.
Yeah. Oh, no. Next.
That don't count. Right, another panel that's coming out on Thursday, and this is one that Tony, I think you picked out, was kickstarting comics in 2022 and beyond. So, what do we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big one. What do we want to say about that kind of panel? Which is, I think these are the heart of the panels, right? These are the panels people should be going to.
Yeah.
Yes, the trailers are nice, but we'll get to see a trailer in about 30 minutes on YouTube.
Yeah.
All that, that's what's gonna end up happening, right? Just a few minutes afterwards, it goes, oh, it's up for everybody to see. But like kickstarting comics in 2022, obviously it's talking about Kickstarters. And Tony, I'm pointing to you because you, my friend, have a Kickstarter.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's talk a little bit about what would you expect from a panel like this, and then talk a little bit about your Kickstarter.
So from a panel like this, I would expect other people who have run successful Kickstarters to kind of share, things that work for them, maybe some of the mistakes that they made in theirs. Usually in one of these Kickstarter panels, you usually have a representative from Kickstarter to kind of explain how what they do works, which is really insightful. Yeah, it's just since I'm in indie comics, you're in indie comics, the Kickstarter becomes really that middleman to kind of get your stuff out there, get your stuff funded, so you can actually make these things. So any panel that kind of gives you some extra insight into how to run your campaign successfully is a good one. And I a lot of the things that I've learned from my Kickstarter has come from panels like this at Comic-Con.
Awesome, that's good. Yeah, and being someone that was one of the first guys who've done a Kickstarter, I did a Kickstarter years ago when it first became a thing. It's definitely changed, and now you're competing against top name talents, which makes it a little harder on us indie guys, like low level indie guys, but we're not low level, we're top notch. Your Kickstarter is the Star Noir, which I was looking at it, and it's a 1940 detective teen book. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share the screen so you guys can see a little bit of it while you talk a little bit about it. So let's go ahead and do that now. So everybody should be able to see it there. I'm going to play the video, but I don't know if it's good, if you're going to hear it. If you don't hear it, that's fine.
Okay.
But talk to me a little bit about it.
Well, it takes place in 1947. It is about this homicide detective named Alan Miller, and he teams up with this gray alien to stop a shapeshifter who is killing LAPD officers inside Central Station. It's LA Noir meets the X-Files. You got that glamorized nostalgia of the 1940s. Mixed with that fear of the unknown that the X-Files had. What I really liked about the X-Files was how they took these real abduction stories and then wove it into their own original narrative, and it kind of gave you this almost like grounded feel for aliens. It's less fantastical, and there's just a lot of weight to these alien encounters, and I thought it was a good mashup to kind of have this very cold air in the lungs feeling of a noir story mixed with a grounded portrayal of aliens. And it's a 6-part murder mystery, and we're raising funds for the first book, and we're kind of rounding home to get this one funded.
Awesome. Yeah, just looking at the artwork alone, I love what I see. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You have a really good art team.
Yeah.
Not just the pencils, but the inks, the colors.
Yeah. What I really liked about the colorist, he did this like brushstroke style that made everything look really vintage. And the first time I started seeing the pages together, I just was blown away. I mean, because the artist Pablo, he already puts so much life into each panel. Like there are crime scenes where there's a lot of stuff going on, and then the colorist, the pages just come to life and just really have that 1940s vintage feel to it.
Awesome. Well, there you guys have it. We're gonna I'll make sure it's gonna be in the description for everybody to see it. So that's Star Noir. It is Tony James' book. You have 13 days remaining for the Kickstarter. You're doing really good. I saw where you currently are right now. So you guys doing good. Help support indie creators. Yes. Thank you, Tony, for that one. All right, exactly. Let's go ahead and now we're going to go into our next day and let's talk a little bit about Friday's panel. Now, Friday's panel, again, like Thursday, I think has a lot more than even the weekend. I think Thursday and Friday seem to, for me personally, I think are stronger than Saturday and Sunday as far as the panels and screening. The first thing is what's on a lot of people's mind and a lot of people are excited for. We talked a little bit about this on Sean on Sunday when we talked a little bit about that anime shows. Chainsaw Man. Whoo! Chainsaw Man world premiere. Now, you see, this is to me is exciting because it's not a trailer. We're not getting a trailer. We're going to get an episode. And I hope it's again, what's been told about this show is it's going to be graphic. It's going to be balls to the wall, pretty much. What do you guys think about Chainsaw Man? Are you guys hyped up for Chainsaw Man?
I love this premise. It just seems so bonkers. Like I'm very excited to see this.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the studio. Sometimes the studios are up and down, but it looks like they got their A team on this so far with the trailer.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully they knock it out the park. It's a good show.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, you have anything to say about Chainsaw Man?
Honestly, I don't know too much about this world.
And that's fine because most people don't.
So, I mean, it sounds really interesting. I haven't really seen too much like promotion for it. I guess I'm not looking in the right worlds. I guess I'm not, I'm on Twitter and things like that.
So,
but like,
many people
I have
say
to do my research.
And that's fine. Many people say Chainsaw Man is the next biggest anime show to come out. So it is by far one of the most anticipated anime shows, especially since the manga has come out. The manga is hugely successful, hugely popular. It's in several chapters. A lot of people have been reading it. A lot of people are excited about it. And again, it is a bonkers concept. He's a chainsaw man. Just looking at it looks bonkers, right?
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff as a kid you made up. You had a toy chainsaw, you put it as a person's head, and there you go, Chainsaw Man. It has a lot of the same feelings of Jujutsu Kaisen and a little bit of Demon Slayer. It's part of an organization. He's part demon. He merged with his demon pet. So there's a lot of craziness that goes along with it. It's very gory. I will say that much. It's a gory comic, but it has a lot of buzz behind it. Another animated show that they're going to premiere, I think they're going to premiere the movie actually, is the Batman Superman, the next Batman Superman animated feature, The Battle of the Super Sons. This one is Damien and
John.
And John, right? John
Yeah.
L. So this is going to be we've seen Damien before in animated form, but this is a different version. I believe this one is going to be targeted more towards a younger audience. It's still part of that whole DC animated field, and DC animations have been good. Lately, I haven't been feeling them.
You didn't like the Long Halloween?
That was great.
That one was good, but the ones previously I wasn't feeling. Like the new 52 runs that they did when they were doing the new 52 characters, I wasn't too thrilled about those.
I think they just switched out the team because the animation style changed.
I think Sam Register is still part of it, though. Sam Register is usually the one that's part of it. He's still part of it.
But you know what? If he's still hold on. I don't know if it's him exactly or if it's the other guy. But you remember, like those guys, the guys that took over the 52 run were the guys that made the Ultimate cartoons, the Ultimate movies.
Yeah, I remember those. The Ultimate Avengers you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't too crazy about those either.
Yeah, those were good. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love this comic book run. I think this is one of the best, like, next to World's Finest, this was a really good run. Where it's a Batman, Superman character rolling together.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, what I like about these these adaptations that they do is they always change stuff to stay ahead of the readers. So if you've read the books, there's a the Long Halloween had it too, where there was a bunch of twists that happened in the book and they change it in the movie, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Because let's just say Hush was not that great. I was very disappointed by Hush.
But the twist ending for Gotham by Gaslight was good.
Yeah, Gotham by Gaslight was fantastic.
Yeah.
That one was a good one. Also, Red Sun, Superman Red Sun was really good. That was a really good adaptation. I really enjoyed that one. So I'm curious about this one. The art style seems very standard. It doesn't wow me in any way. But
what's the last one that just came out? The Green Lantern one? That was
I didn't get to see it though. I didn't get to see it. The Green Lantern.
Don't even worry.
I will. I will watch. I will say I did like the Son of the Dragon one, the one that was set in the 70s.
That was really good.
That was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool Batman take. And different, very different. So we have that one. Another thing that's happening on Friday night, this is actually Friday night, is they're going to have a My Hero Academia live concert experience. What does that mean? Are we going to have music that's part of the show, or are they going to show the show, or we're just going to have a rave with My Hero Academia characters? What do you guys think?
It's a live concert. They have the composer playing with a band. So I mean, they'll probably show the scenes of All Might flying through the city while playing his theme.
Yeah,
I mean, if the composer's gonna be there, I feel like they're gonna take bits and pieces from the seasons, and they're just gonna play not random songs per se, but they're just gonna play like snippets and like
or title sequences.
Like I don't think we're gonna hear anything new, and if we do, who knows? Like it's a catch-all kind of thing.
The last one they played music from the movies as well. So they had one new movie recently. So you might get something from that as well.
Yeah, I remember now. And that movie was it was very closely resembled an X-Men type movie where it was like a mutant liberation front type of thing. I didn't get to see it. You know what? That's one of those movies that I forgot about. That I have to go back to watch. I saw the other ones, but I didn't get to see that one because for some reason I just forgot it was there. It was out. Moving on from My Hero Academia, we're gonna get One Piece, but we're gonna get a dub. The next day on Saturday, we're actually gonna get the subtitle of One Piece. Have you guys watched One Piece? Because I've never watched One Piece.
Up to 1,020 something.
Jesus.
So I've watched One Piece religiously.
I have read One Piece. I've not seen One Piece.
Oh, dude, I do both. I just God. Anyway,
20-minute episodes.
So it's probably going to be a
Try
really
binging
good
that
episode
sucker.
because a lot of craziness is happening in this arc. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody on the panel, but how far are you in the book?
Oh, I'm still super early. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to ruin anything for you.
He's like in 1/3 piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're still in the Eastern Blue, right? They're still in the Eastern Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
So this is gonna be a great episode. It's probably a lot of hype, a lot of good animation too. Because the last one they announced, they had a panel, a screening for was 1,000.
Yeah, that was last time.
When 1,000 came out, they had a big screening for that.
Yeah,
that was a big deal. I remember now.
Yeah. So this is probably not wrapping up the fight, but it's gonna reveal a new. I don't want to spoil it. I know what he's saying.
No, don't spoil it.
But this, and then they also have the movie coming out as well. One Piece Red.
Yeah, which we're gonna talk a little. That's gonna happen. We're gonna talk a little bit about it for Saturday as well. So that's definitely they're connected. The last thing that we're going to talk about from the screeners that they're going to talk about is Good Omens. Good Omens comes from the book that was written by Neil Gaiman. The series, the first season wrapped up actually a few years ago now. It's been
Yeah, I'm surprised they're bringing it back.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. I've watched the first season.
I watched the first season too. It's really good. It's well written.
Really good. David Tennant is amazing. I love his character. And Mike Bushian. The whole thing it's a great story, and it's from Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman right now is super hot, especially coming out of Sandman. So what's next? Yeah. Sandman. In case you didn't know, Sandman Audible. The third act was just released out of nowhere. It just came out of nowhere, and they released it this week. So if you want to pick it up, go to Audible, and you could get that. You could get the third part where we get the missing, the prodigal, as they like to call him, from the endless. But Good Omens stems from one of his popular stories, where it's an angel and a demon, and they have to work together to stop Armageddon. And this is the second season, so it's a continuation. They did what they could. Now it's just dealing with the after effects of it. So, did you guys ever catch Good Omens?
No, that was one series that.
It's really good. It's actually really good. David Tennant is amazing.
I got through like the half the season.
Yeah,
but I think I was watching it the same time. What's it called now? I forgot. Some show came out at the same time, and it kind of deaded that. Mm-hmm. And I went to watch the other show. So
so you never got back to it. It ends really well. It's actually a really good ending. So that's part of it. Now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the panels that we've all selected. But before we go to a selected panel, Sean, you and you gotta sit back up, man.
All right.
Let's talk about the panel that we are going to be a part of, Sean.
Awesome. So, guys, we're going to be doing a panel on Friday at 10:45 a.m. in the morning. If you're looking for it, it's under Creation Station. But the name of it really, truly is Cross-Cultural Experiences Through Anime, Comics, and Gaming. It's all about how different cultures influence you as a creator, whether it's art, writing, whatever your creative process is. And also how your culture affects other cultures as well. So we're going to have a panel of different creators, artists, writers, people that organize events and bring people from different communities together all throughout New York City. I have a couple of great artists who are also stuntmen, graffiti artists, has helped made an era of hip hop known around the world. Izzy's on the panel as well, with his charming smile and the lovely IzzyVerse. And we're going to have some very talented people there. It's going to be a great time. Stop by. Feel free to ask questions, talk, take a breather, And then also I have a table. I have a table there as well. I'm going to be there with Tokyo Bronx. And you can swing by there too and say hello too if you don't make it to the panel.
Yeah. And it's going to be in the community lounge, right?
Yeah, it's in the Pavilion, Riviera Pavilion in the community lounge. So if you're a cosplayer and you're like, oh, shoot, I want to cosplay again, you go to the cosplay area and then we're just right up there.
Cool. Awesome. So that's going to be one of the panels that we're going to be a part of. I'm part of it. Sean told me, what was it, about a week or two ago? He was like, yo, Izzy, you going to be in my panel? I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about a week ago. You know the song?
And then I was like, what's it about? He's like, this is what it's about.
Yes.
So we have that. There are some other panels that we want to talk. I want to talk a little bit about that are coming out. So I got my list here, and I want to just take a look at some of them and talk a little bit about some of them. One of them, and it had a lot of pop back in Fan Expo. Tony, you actually picked this as a choice, and that is the Frank Miller Presents.
Yeah.
Right. Frank Miller Presents. This one is going to be the Ancient Enemy. So back in Fan Expo, which happened a couple of months ago, they actually had a panel for one of his presenters, and they gave away an ashcan, which apparently has some value now. People are going crazy over it. But why did you pick Frank Miller Presents in general? Because he's doing panels each day.
It just if Frank Miller is just he just seems to be in the background of comics now that he's kind of coming back, and he is doing his own thing and own comic. I don't know. It just feels like the old guard is coming back.
Yeah, it's like a Frank Miller resin. I can't even
Yeah.
say the word.
Resurrection.
No, I'm thinking Renaissance. There's the word. Frank Miller
Oh,
Renaissance.
And him working with Dan Dio, I think I don't know. I'm really excited to see what his line of comics is, what it is, if it really embodies the spirit of Frank Miller.
Yeah, we're gonna get Ronin back. There'll be
Yeah.
some new Sin City characters that
Yeah.
are rolling. This one, Ancient Enemies, which he's always been a bit of a historian with some of his stories. Like he loves that Roman era of storytelling from 300, which I love 300, man. That's one of my favorite movies to watch.
Yeah.
You were saying, Sean?
I was saying, I think he's such a different person now, man. Because like after reading White Terror, I was just like, I don't know.
He's very. He could be controversial. He could be controversial in his writing.
No, that's fine. I mean, I just feel like he's just a different character. Even reading DK3,
that was great.
That was a good book.
DK2, not so much.
No.
Yeah, DK3, he reclaimed himself,
but that's because he had Brian Azzarello in it. So but All Star Batman, I don't know what he was thinking about in All Star.
Yeah,
that's one. That's a book that you got to say this. What were you thinking, dude?
I think he was thinking Hollywood at the time. Remember, he was making Sin City and all that stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
that was an era
too.
Yeah, we got the Spirit though.
The Spirit, and he directed part of 2 as well. He got to direct a piece of Sin. A Dame to Kill. That was part 2. A
Dame to Kill 4. Yeah, that's part 2.
Yeah, he directed a piece of that as well. So
yeah, he's Frank Miller, man. He's still a legend.
Yeah.
He'll always be a legend. Nothing.
I can't take that away from him.
And no, should you, right? His stuff on Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Returns. I personally love Year One. I love it more than Dark Knight Returns. Year One, because it is such a good story. The way it's paced and the way it's brought together. And of course, David Mazzucchelli's art style. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And his Daredevil run, and even the one, The Man Without Fear with John Romita Jr. So underrated story, but it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So yeah, for all the hits, for all the misses he has, I think he has some better hits.
Yeah.
And the hits that he does have are like they're smashes.
Right. Like I said, younger him, fucking monster. Sorry, my bad.
That's your one, man. That's your one.
I got one. Sorry, kids. One. When he was younger, monster.
Yeah.
As he got older.
But that happens. Right?
Yeah, it does. I just had to read Bruce Timm Harley Quinn recently.
Yeah.
All right, so we got that. We also have some more panels that we want to talk a little bit about. But Kevin, you have anything that's coming out on Friday that you're interested to talk about?
Yeah. I have Comixology Originals, the art of the comic pitch.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, again, I'm just starting out in this world. So for me, I wish I went to a panel like this when I was just starting out. Because I've done work with Buddy. Yeah, I've done the 8-page challenges that he's done. I've had my hand in the anthologies that he's put out. But I never really learned how to pitch my comics. Yeah. And so for me, like, if you're just starting out, go to this panel.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to teach you how to pitch your work, because I feel like for a lot of people who are just starting out, they want to go to IDW, Boom, Image, DC, Marvel, but they don't know how to pitch their comic. They don't, so like even for me, and I'm going to talk about my comic later on. I don't know the first thing about writing a pitch. I don't have an elevator pitch for my comic. And the way I describe my comic, which really isn't a comic, it's more of a short story, but to each their own. Like, I give more of a summary of it and not like this is what it's actually about, and letting people experience it on their own kind of thing. So please, if you have the time and you have the energy, go to this panel. Like
it'll be available, right? Because there's people out there that are feeding to learn more. And when I started, it was going to these panels that really got me to understand what editors are looking for, what publishers are looking for. And one of the hardest things for people to do is say, what's your comic about? And you say, well, it's about this guy, and he's dealing with a midlife crisis, and he gains the power of the star, and now he is star middle-aged man. It's boring. It's dull, right?
Yeah.
It's cliche, in other words. And building a pitch is really being able to understand first of all, what your story is about from beginning to end, and being able to do it in an entertaining way. Because at the end of the day, that's what all this is, right? It's all form of entertainment, right?
Oh yeah,
and that's the idea. You have a theme, you have a story, you have something you want to bring across, but it still starts off as a form of entertainment. You need to be entertained first before you could teach a lesson, before you could do anything. So that's a big deal. Another one of those panels, that stood out to me that I'm interested in actually going and checking out is the Jim Lee and Friends panel. What does Jim Lee have to say? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Jim Lee is an icon in this industry. We talk about Frank Miller. Jim Lee is equally an icon. His, the stuff he's done, his X-Men run is one of the best. What he did with Batman was great. His Superman, though, his artwork was great. The story wasn't, when he was doing Superman for a while. Wildcats, Image, you name it, right?
Wasn't that Bendis?
What was that?
Wasn't that Bendis that wrote
the
it?
Superman run? No, the original Superman run was with Brian Azzarello. And I don't know. It was as if Brian didn't understand Jim Lee. When he was doing the Hush story, the writer was Jeff Loeb. Some people don't like Jeff Loeb as a writer, but one thing I like about Jeff Loeb as a writer is that he knows who his artist is, right? And his storytelling is so-so, right? But he knows when he has an artist, he knows how to manage that artist, right? So he was, he's pretty much, Jeff Loeb, you're going to do Batman with Jim Lee. Okay, great. I need to make every villain show up in this book. I need to show some of the hottest women in this book, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. Same thing when he was working with the late, great Tim Sale. How do I make this work? Well, it has to feel retro. It has to feel like this. And that's what works. Jim Lee, again, he's part of a team. Jim Lee and Scott Williams. People don't give Scott Williams the credit he deserves, because a lot of the times Jim Lee is doing half of the work and Scott Williams is doing the rest, right? Because Jim Lee is such a busy guy, right? Yeah. And Scott Williams deserves the credit that he usually doesn't get. So that's one I'm interested in checking out. I do plan on going to see that one if I'm not stuck in my booth doing something, because I am going to be in a booth that day. So that's Friday. There's so many things. Another one that's really interesting here that's happening on Friday, which I think should people, we talked a little bit about pitching, you talked a little bit about kickstarting. Another big one is crowdfunding comics.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
that's a big one. That's actually happening at 5 o'clock.
Mhm.
That one's important because, again, like the pitch, now you have to crowdfund it. Who's gonna
Yeah.
read your comic book? And
Yeah.
more importantly,
Yeah.
who's gonna fund your comic book? Who's gonna fund your comic book are family and friends and people that are interested in your work. And how do you get them interested? Just by doing a Kickstarter, by doing Indiegogo, and whatever needs to be done. And that's a
Yeah.
big one that's happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's our Friday. So I don't need this paper anymore, so we can get rid of that. Let's go and talk a little bit about what many believe is always the biggest day of Comic-Con. I personally I'm looking at Thursday and Friday as being bigger, but Saturday is always a big day. And
Yeah.
Saturday's panels are going to feature My Hero Academia. Now we're going to actually talk about season 6 in My Hero Academia. We're going to talk about Bleach. We're going to talk about Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind and One Piece as well. The subtitle. We talked a little bit about it earlier with Friday, but we're going to get the subtitle version here on Saturday. And something I'm definitely near to my heart is going to be the Back to the Future reunion, which we're going to see Marty McFly and the Doc coming back together. So I'm excited for those. What are you guys are excited for this weekend starting season of panels that are going out? What brings excitement with these screenings for you guys?
I'd be interested to see what the Mortal Kombat Legends is like. Mortal Kombat doesn't have a great track record of adaptations, so I'd like to see what they do with that.
The cartoon wasn't bad.
The last one?
No, not the last one. The last one was the Scorpion's Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
That was really solid. I think the same team that did Batman's Soul of the Dragon and a few of the other ones did that one. The other two are kind of like not as strong,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're trying to make it like a DC universe kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to make it a all part of one continuity, pretty much.
Yeah, it's not hitting as good. It's bloody and gory, but it's just not.
Well, isn't Mortal Kombat more so about the characters we like instead of new characters?
Well, in this one, okay, for this one, just it's about one new character, but there's a few old characters like it's Snowblind, so Sub-Zero's in it, Kano's in it, Shang Tsung, and a few other characters, but they're not set up like they're supposed to. It's a whole new like retelling of the characters and the story. So they took the premise, their backgrounds, and made a brand new story from their backstories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What do you guys think? We talked a little bit about My Hero Academia, but now we're getting into season 6. So I take it we're going to get a lot of information. We might see a new trailer. I think we might get a new trailer from it. If not, we might actually see a new they might show an episode. It's Comic-Con. It's Saturday. What way to make it big? Show an episode.
Yeah.
So you guys think they're going to show an episode? Because I think they are.
I don't know. Yeah, there definitely is a good chance, but
Well,
I
most
mean,
likely. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
last year's Comic-Con, I believe they pushed it heavily. There was that big banner right as soon as you walked into the Javits Center.
Oh yeah.
So they kind of featured like an entire day around that. So
and then last
what
year,
secrets they have left.
So one thing I will say is I think one of the biggest things that came out of last year's Comic-Con, which is not anime related, but it was definitely the talking point of the con, and that was when they shared with the people in the audience the Ghostbusters movie, and they played the whole movie where no one saw it. So it was a world premiere of Ghostbusters. We don't have anything that even sounds like it's possible to be that. Like if they would have done a Black Adam panel,
Ooh, yeah.
that would have been like, that's it. They're
That
showing the movie.
I
You know
mean
what I mean?
that would have been the talking point this year. But I
And
mean,
I'm shocked DC didn't take advantage. I'm shocked Warner Brothers didn't take advantage of this opportunity. It's right there in your face, and you didn't grab it while you could. They could have done that.
Yeah.
Marvel could have done it. Marvel could have done, Wakanda Forever, but I think Wakanda's really tight. They're gonna keep this to the very end,
yeah, I
So
mean, with Wakanda Forever, hearing bits and pieces, through Twitter and what have you,
Mhm.
I think they're gonna wait until the very last, like, opening weekend, like,
yeah,
push it
that
heavy,
that Thursday is
know?
when everybody's gonna start talking when the movie premieres, and
Exactly,
that Thursday gonna find
exactly.
out who's the new Black Panther. We're gonna find out what the war is with the Atlanteans all about. There is
Yeah,
a theory. There's a theory going on right now that the war is because of adamantium. That's a theory. It's not. It's not set in stone.
really?
So
Okay.
the theory is that the reason why they're in war is because Wakanda has vibraniums and the Atlanteans, which I can't remember what they're changing their names, Talkians or something, I think it is, that they're the ones that have the adamantium. Because there
Oh,
is a discussion.
interesting,
Yeah, there is a discussion about bringing
interesting.
adamantium now.
Okay.
And the biggest news that came out this week was, Deadpool and Wolverine coming back, but that's
Right,
way
right.
out in 2024. Another big thing that came out just recently is that Armor Wars is now going to be a movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that
I
that was dropped today.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that
need
was
to
dropped
look
today.
into that one.
Yeah, they just dropped that today that they're gonna move it to a
Oh,
movie, which
okay.
I'm shocked at that one. That was a little interesting to me. But I think personally, I think My Hero Academia is going to show an episode, at least an episode or two. Who knows? Beggar can't be choosers.
I mean,
But
if they
that's
show an episode in a trailer, I think fans are going to be pretty happy with that alone.
Mhm.
Just
I agree.
because that'll give them something at least to hold on to and,
Yeah,
like,
and it gives a reason
keep the
why New York.
conversation going.
Yeah, and it gives a reason for New York Comic Con to be a talking point, right? I don't.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening from the Marvel and this DC side of things, which I'm a little disappointed at.
There's not a lot happening, but I mean, again, you have to realize with Marvel and DC, they shook up the comic book world pretty bad, with their decisions to drop Diamond, you know.
Yeah,
So with them, not having a big showing last year, Marvel, coming back this year, and them being pretty tight-lipped on, how are they getting their books out there? Who are they
yeah.
using as their shipper?
I
You
believe
know,
I believe Penguin. They
It's
going to
Penguin for DC. I know Penguin has
Oh,
DC.
okay.
Penguin has DC. I think
Marvel has
it's
to have something with Disney
Simon and
somewhere
Schuster
for Marvel.
for Marvel, I believe so. But I mean, even that alone, like, who knows? Who knows what's happening?
Yeah.
And for them, for Marvel to not be at the forefront now, like they've always been. The last couple Comic Cons, you've always heard Comic Con featuring Marvel, DC. Those were the big names out there.
And Marvel's back.
You would see, pictures from Reed Pop and from the Javits. Marvel would take, 50, 60, 70 feet of the show floor.
They had that one spot. It's always been there. And
Yeah.
last year was it was fairly noticed that they weren't there, and the Whatnot crew grabbed that spot, right? And even
So-
so, that was still it felt empty, that spot. Like, hey, somebody's missing. But so was DC.
exactly.
DC had the entrance. They always had a great set where you always got to see the costumes of the characters. And again,
Right.
why not have it this year? Again, Black Adam. It's right around the corner, guys. It's coming out the same month. You know what I mean? It's like, and you're not utilizing Black Adam? What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, even if they want to take it slow, they're just missing so many major opportunities.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I've done event staffing. I've done stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And to not have big names in the comic book world there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, you're missing out on a lot. So
I agree.
I feel like, you know, are we done seeing Marvel and DC in those bigger areas? Or, you know,
I don't know,
are they
because
then going to downsize and just say, oh, just give us like a 10-foot by 10-foot area and we'll call it a deal.
I doubt that. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Marvel has D23.
Yeah.
Right? That's their big show. That's the big Disney show. So Disney's taking care of that. It wasn't as strong as most people thought it was gonna be, but it's a show, and they're gonna do their panels there. DC doesn't really have that. And DC lately has been struggling with the acquisition. Right? So the Warner Brother acquisition to Discovery, apparently it took them aback, I will say. And the DC property, movie-wise, is struggling. But the comic books itself, both Marvel and DC, the comic books have not been strong lately. The both of the crossover events, Dark Crisis for DC and Avengers, X-Men, Judgment Day for Marvel, they've been falling flat. Not a lot of people. There's not a lot of buzz around them. They've been falling flat. No one's really talking about them like that. And to be completely honest, the books they're not selling the way they probably should be selling, right? Only certain books are selling well because they always sell well, like a Batman or a Spider-Man. Yeah. But these other books, which are supposed to be major crossover events, heck, Dark Crisis changed their name to Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is supposed to be a direct sequel to Crisis on Infinite Earths, and even that is not making it move the needle. So, that's a big deal, right? So, with all that being said, this was a blown opportunity. Now, who's to say come next week we get a big DC and Marvel reel that comes out of nowhere, because they're the type of companies that could just make a phone call and say, hey, by the way, we plan on being there next week.
Yeah.
And Reed Pop's gonna be like, yeah, sure, okay, here's your spot again. You know what I mean? It's like, we'll push Sean's panel. He doesn't need his panel. We'll take his panel, right? And Sean, I'm just messing with you here, though.
It's fine. It's all good.
but they have the ability to do that kind of stuff. And if they wanted to do it, they would, right? They're not afraid to do that. Moving on, let's talk a little bit more about the one panel that I am very interested in seeing, only simply as a fan, and that is Back to the Future reunion. Are you guys Back to the Future fans? Because I love Back to the Future.
I'm gonna be honest. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said I like the first two. Wasn't too much into the third one, the Western.
I've never seen the third one.
It's interesting. I don't have a problem with the third one. I like the whole thing, the whole story, and it has it actually has some nice closure to it.
Excuse me.
Which I do like. Bless you. I don't know what that was, bro.
Yeah, that was weird. Sorry, man.
I don't think I ever finished the third one.
I think no one could get through the third one, bro.
I've got through it plenty of times. What are you talking about?
You're a fan.
But I mean, also too, then again, I don't think I've seen any of them to completion.
Really?
Maybe the first
one? I don't think so.
Oh, it's such a great movie, man. It still holds up, man.
Yeah,
I love that first one.
But
I
mean,
perfect.
Also, granted, to, you know, they came out when I was a kid, you know, being the youngest one on this panel, you know. So I think for me, it just, I don't think it was on my radar
and that's
as
fine.
like, you know,
It
a
is a movie of
movie
its time.
that my generation would enjoy.
Mhm.
I mean, if I saw it again today, different story.
Yeah,
But
it's a
you
fun
know,
it's a fun movie. I love it.
I'm surprised that Christopher Lloyd is still alive, man. Jesus.
yeah.
He's still there. He's still kicking, man.
He's what, like 80
He's something.
something,
He's
70,
something.
80 something. So, I mean,
He's been around the block. All right,
yeah.
going to our other panels and screeners. We'll be a little quick so we can get to the last day. We have one that's going on in Pop Asia stage, and this is going to be from the guys from what they're called Nerd something. I can't remember their name now. They're going to be running a panel, and it's going to be all about Saturday morning cartoons. Which, personally speaking, I'm totally for it because
Yeah.
I think kids miss Saturday morning cartoons. They don't know what it's like to have Saturday morning cartoons. Tony, you have this as a pick. Tell me why you picked Saturday morning cartoons as your choice.
Well, who doesn't like Saturday morning cartoons, first of all? And then also, they're showing the 90s stuff. Like and I don't know which 90s cartoon they're going to show, but I mean,
we're going to get some X-Men.
But I mean, you really can't go wrong. It was like a golden age of cartoons that they made.
Yeah.
There. So, and then on top of that, they said they're gonna play commercials like from that era.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so there, man. I'll be there. I'm like with my popcorn, my cereal. No, I got to get a bowl of cereal. It got to be a bowl of cereal. I'll be like, just eating my bowl of cereal, like your Fruity Pebbles, Fruit Loops, Toucan Sam, and all that
Cut the roof of your mouth, man. Anyway,
what was that?
I say to cut the roof of your mouth.
I love it. I love Saturday morning cartoons. Which is great because that's how I feel about the current anime series that are coming out this October. It gives me that same feeling I had when a Saturday morning cartoon series would come out, because when I was a kid, a Saturday morning cartoon, before we got the Saturday morning cartoon, that Friday before they debuted, they would show like, these are the shows that are all coming out this week, and you had that nice little 1 hour like preview show, and they'll have like some Saved by the Bell gang saying, hey, what do you think about this one? And like, yeah, the Smurfs are coming out for the 300th season, and and then you get all these other Hanna-Barbera like shows, because that's all it was, or Funimation and things like that. So I'm excited for that to happen. Another thing, let's take a look at what else is happening on Saturday. One panel that I had to pick was the Superman panel, the DC Superman panel. The reason why I picked that one is because we are going into the 30th anniversary of the death of Superman. It actually already happened, the 30th anniversary, but the celebration begins in October. And we're going to have pretty much the entire team that was part of the original Death of Superman run. So Dan Jurgens, Jerry Orwell, Louise Simonson, John Bernanovan, they were all the team that was part of the Death of Superman run. I remember when the Death of Superman came out, it was a big, big thing. It was one of those books when it was sold, people were in droves getting comic books and thinking they were going to put their kids through college. And I'm happy to say they did not do that. In fact, the average Death of Superman comic goes for about $15 now, only because it's 30 years old. So that's a panel that I'm excited for. Another one, again, we're heading against Frank Miller's Ronin is going to happen. There's a lot of cosplay panels happening as well, because they have their own thing going on. So that's happening for Saturday. And everything else is like, okay, we're gonna do this show here, this there. So there's a lot of repetitive stuff that's going on Saturday.
Well, so one panel I would like to plug actually is the Creator AfterCon.
Yes, the Creator AfterCon, which I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
You're going, Kev.
I'll be there.
That's happening on
so-
Friday, though. That's happening on Friday.
Yeah, but they have on Saturday they have a panel where yes, there's the after party, but then this is like a whole,
The
you actually
hungover
get
party.
basically. So you get to meet the people that you met yesterday or even new people. So
Yeah.
like that'll probably be a fun time.
Yeah, it definitely. I do plan on going
I'm-
on the Creator AfterCon.
I'm gonna try to make it. That
Mhm.
week for me might be a little crazy just
Yeah.
because other work and stuff like that might get in the way, but we'll see.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's go
Gentlemen,
ahead and
Hold on
Yeah.
1 second. I'm gonna have to part ways. I've had a long day at work. I
yeah.
am falling asleep. Apologies, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, no worries.
Don't forget your Captain Crunch, though.
Yes, best.
Ariel is-
But thank you for having me on the panel, Izzy. Nice meeting you, Tony.
Thank
Nice
you,
meeting
Sean. We're gonna continue as you go,
Alright.
Sean.
Awesome.
Don't forget.
Nice
Go
meeting
check
you,
out
brother.
Sean's panel that's happening on Friday. I'll be in it as well. It's going to be at 10:45 in the community lounge, right?
Yes, please. Come
Thank you,
check us
Sean.
out.
Thank you, Sean, for coming back. We'll talk
Apologies,
soon, bro.
Izzy.
No
My
problem,
bad.
man.
I'm just falling.
No
apart.
worries.
He had a
No
long day,
worries.
guys. He's working hard.
Yeah. Have a
All
good
right.
one, guys.
Yeah.
But
Night.
while Sean is we're going to go ahead and do our last panel, our last day, which is Sunday. Sunday is always traditionally been a kids' day. However, we are going to get some things that are not kids based. But the panels that we are going to see, some of the top screeners that are going to be out there is we're going to have Muppet Mayhem, which is Dr. Teef and his crew. They're going to get their own show. So we're going to get some more Animal, which you can never go wrong with Animal. I love Animal. Also, there's going to be a new SpongeBob SquarePants presents the Title Zone. I don't know. We've been having SpongeBob for well over 20 years now. So the more
Yeah.
SpongeBob, the merrier. It doesn't seem to get old. The animation journey with Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, that's also is happening. I find it interesting that they're putting them together, only because they're really technically the same channel, but Cartoon Network is very targeted towards a younger audience, while Adult Swim, the name is Adult Swim.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, with that one though, traditionally in the TV lineup,
mhm.
Adult Swim would be that like from like 10 p.m. to like
Exactly.
2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, when adults would either be up or doing whatever,
Yeah.
getting ready for work and things like that.
Mhm.
So I'm honestly not surprised that they put those two together.
And I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. So it is something. Another one that a lot of people want to see is HBO's Max and Doom Patrol and Titans, guys. We got more seasons of Doom Patrol and Titans. There's a lot of discussion on Doom Patrol. A lot of people are excited for Doom Patrol. Why not? Because it is a great show. Titans also, Titans has hits and misses, but it's still cool to watch the Titans. You guys are interested in those, I take it, right?
Doom Patrol more than Titans.
Yeah. Tell me why you like Doom Patrol, Tony.
I don't know. Just it's I just like the kind of laid back nature of it. It's just a bunch of weird friends together. It's like I mean, it's structurally similar to Umbrella Academy, but I prefer this kind of hangout of
Yeah.
these guys better. And I also think this Cyborg is probably one of the best adaptations of Cyborg.
Yeah, I'm not too crazy about Cyborg from Justice League. Dare I say it? Ray
Yeah.
Fisher's Cyborg.
He's all right, but I like this one on Doom Patrol.
Cool. Another panel that I actually have no problems with, but that's the Let's Get Weird panel, and that's all about the new Weird Al Yankovic movie that's coming out. Whew. So we get our Daniel Radcliffe, we get Rachel Evan Rachel Wood's gonna be there, and of course, the number one geek of them all, Mr. Weird Al Yankovic. I cannot wait to see this movie.
This is This is an interesting one. This is on my radar. Again, I wish I had a ticket. But I mean,
And
I
who's to
read
say?
an,
Maybe they'll show a movie. Maybe they'll show the movie there. Who knows,
yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, I read an interview or an article with Weird Al Yankovic actually talking about like finding Daniel Radcliffe through, I don't think it was through the Harry Potter series, it was through something else. And the second Al Yankovic heard Daniel Radcliffe talk, he was like, sign him up. Like, that's who I want to play me, a younger version of me.
He's all cut up and everything too.
And so, like, for me, I think that's like it's gonna be an interesting dynamic.
Well,
To see
it's also
them, like-
funny. It's also funny that it's going to be on the Roku channel. Like, who watches the Roku channel? Does anybody watch the Roku channel? But that is so
Yeah.
brand for Weird Al, right? It is
Oh,
so
for
it
sure.
is so brand, right? Because
For
everybody,
sure.
UHF, his movie, which happens to have a very young Kramer in it. Michael Richardson's in that movie, which
Wow.
is
Okay.
such a stupid movie. It's one of those movies that doesn't make any sense. And but then again, it's so Weird Al. It's so on brand. So I'm looking forward to that one. I hope I get a chance to actually get to that panel, because that's one I will definitely want to sit down and watch and just hear him talk about. Hopefully they'll show clips. Hopefully they might show the movie. So who knows? Because the movie is scheduled to come out. What other panels are we interested for Sunday? I know Sunday is usually a light day, but do we have any other panels that are in the list that we are interested in doing? Because I do know there are some indie creator panels, like IDW is going to have one, Boom is going to have one as well. Talking a little bit about their books, and I'm excited about go checking those out. But is there any other panels that you guys think will be interesting?
I don't think I have anything on my radar.
It's usually a shopping
For-
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fire sale day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Sundays typically are just like, that's when you get like the 50, 60, 70% off, like just grab whatever, and like,
Yeah.
you know, you just see people walking out with
Dealers
you
are
know,
dying to get rid of
50, 60 bags of comics, and you know,
Yeah.
people are walking out with the long boxes, and you know, like, so outside of the Let's Get Weird, I don't think I have anything else on my radar.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So with that being said, I think we're at that point now that we could just call it a day. We're excited for Comic-Con, like always.
Yes, sir.
And we know there's a lot of panels. Again, if you need to find a panel, go to the Comic-Con website. Go check out the panels that are still available, because keep in mind, some of them have sold out from the reservation, but they still have the opportunity to reserve some of them. They're going based off of your ticket. So if you have a ticket for Friday, that's what you're going to be able to see. If you have a ticket for any other days, then you could go ahead and reserve panels for those days that you are available. Keep in mind that many of them have already sold out. The process happened earlier this afternoon. There was a glitch that happened on Monday where it was originally supposed to happen, but now they're doing it and it's open as we speak. But unfortunately, many of those panels have sold out. But I heard that they may have some seating available for some of them. You just have to be there early to do it. So once the con opens, you really pretty much you just have to go to that area, get your badge scanned for that panel, and hope that it'll be available. I hope that's the case for some of the panels, because I personally was not able to do the reservations for some of them. But it's a Comic-Con, so there's always something to do. You'll always find something to do. Go check out Artist Alley. Go support local talent. Go to the small press booth. I'm going to be on 1941. That's the booth I'm going to be. I'm going to be there for Thursday and Friday. I'm also going to be doing Sean's panel on Friday at 10:45. So if you go to my booth at 10:45, you ain't going to find me there. But I'll make sure I leave a note to let you know where I'm at. And if you're interested in seeing more things and talking more things, go there to New York Comic Con. Before I let you go, they just want to make sure that this Saturday there's also a show going on in Staten Island that I'm going to be part of. It's the St. Anne's Comic Carnival. And that's going to be an event that's happening to support the St. Anne's School in Staten Island. I've been invited to go, so I'm definitely going to be there alongside some of my family. My family's planning to go with me. They usually don't go with me, but they're going to come out for that one. And that's happening this Saturday. So with that said, Kevin, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, under, I believe my Twitter and Instagram are kpay136. If anything, I can write that in the chat, or I'll send it to Izzy after the show. If you follow me on Twitter, my only pinned post that I have right now is my short story that I wrote last year. That's actually pretty close to my heart. So, you know, if you have feedback on that, I look forward to reading that. It'll actually help me write the next chapter that I'm actually writing right now. So, but yeah.
Cool. And Tony, where can we find you?
On Twitter, T/J, the word slash T/J. On Instagram, I'm at BananaBat. It's fun to say. And then Star Noir is on Kickstarter. Go check it out.
Yeah, when I saw Banana Bat, I was like, okay. I was looking for you on Instagram at first because you had a different name on the Discord. And I was like, I can't find his name. Then when he said I'm Banana Bat, I was like, okay, Banana Bat it is.
Yeah. So,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm there.
So there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching the IzzyVerse. Again, like, support. Super chats now are. You could actually donate now to the IzzyVerse. You could give me a nice little thank you of us. A prize of any size works for me. I'm good. We'll see you next time on the IzzyVerse. Until then, Excelsior.